got about 4.5, 5 million odd subscribers on YouTube. But what stops somebody else who has expertise in an unrelated field to have command a larger subscriber base than you, which we've seen in the past as well. Unrelated people commanding the kind of influence that you do and go ahead and make claims about financial products without having any formal education or experience in those products.
See, absolutely. I mean, currently there's no barrier to entry, but I wouldn't be worried about celebrities occasionally telling their life stories around finance. Say, I bought this house doing this, doing this. As long as they are not portraying them, I think it's okay. We can't violate a bit of freedom of speech, freedom for someone to express his or her life story. That's fine. But it's about what is your primary area of influence. Have you built a community of people who are interested in finance? Do you portray yourself as financial expert, or do you offer directly or indirectly financial products and services to your audience? I think one, portraying yourself through your bio, through your conduct as a financial expert, talking about what the economy will do, stock market will do, and things like that. And second, offering a product or service or consultation for money in any of the financial domains. So if someone is doing these two things, then I think they should be considered finfluencers and should abide by a lot of regulations.
But Pranjal, we have seen examples. We've seen authors, entrepreneurs, I'm not going to name them, but especially in the last 2 years, 2.5 years, we've seen serial entrepreneurs, authors who talk about many other things in life also go on YouTube and give financial advice. We've seen, even the likes of comedians taking on something so serious as financial advice and recommending financial products, using influence they've garnered through unrelated fields, but exploiting it, to really reach out to this gullible set of audiences. Many of them also offer courses which directly take money from the people who are taking their advice, leave alone endorsing a product for which they are getting remunerated. How do we counter this in the real world?
See, this is where you draw the line. If someone is interested in the finance domain directly by earning finance, so if you write a book, you're getting royalty out of it. So if you're offering courses, you're earning money out of it. If you make finance as your business, is when the regulator should include you in the domain. But if it's just ancillary things that you talk occasionally, because we also need to understand that the regulator can only act when there is an aggrieved party who has paid a consideration. Otherwise, anyone saying anything on social media, if you start clamping down on them, that gives huge unregulated power then to the authorities, and that's clearly violation of freedom of speech guaranteed by the Constitution. So I think if anyone, and trust me, once I've seen the comedians, the influencers, the authors, there's so much money in finfluencing that once if they start entering this domain, they make a couple of videos, it gets good traction, they are tempted to then monetize it. So they would launch memberships, books, courses, and that is where the regulator can come in and say, see, this is your business now. And my bone of contention to these finfluencers is that I totally understand that it's your personal advice, it's your personal experience, things like that. But if the regulatory requirements, they're not difficult. It's not difficult to get registered as an RA or as an RIA. The net worth requirement is 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 50,000 in some cases. You just need to be a PG degree holder or a diploma holder in finance and you get certified. So if you think you are earning crores or lakhs of rupees and you think you can influence lakhs of people, why don't you get yourself registered when the entry barrier is so low? So it's clearly a lack of intent and lack of, intent to follow the rule of the law of the land.
But then is just registering yourself as a registered investment advisor enough? And by law, if you are an RIA and if there is some sort of an oath that you've taken that you will give the correct advice, should you be legally allowed to even promote a product which may or may not have the end goal result that your client deserves?
See, I mean, all registrations, PMS, brokers, mutual funds, it does not guarantee, definitely does not, but at least justifies the intent that he or she is not someone who is willing to run away tomorrow by making millions. He or she is someone who is willing to put in the skin in the game and is here for the long run. At least the intent is there. And what happens practically is that once you get registered as an RIA, you start getting reminders from BACL, which is a subsidiary of BSE that's actually been authorized by SEBI to keep in touch with RIAs, do soft audits and things like that. You get random audits by SEBI. You get a lot of reminders by stock exchange. So even if your intent was just to get registered and keep doing anything you want to, the ecosystem is such that once you get registered, you might give bad advice. It might not work out, and that's completely fine. Everyone, even if you're an expert, you're prone to go wrong, but it justifies that you have skin in the game, you're here for the long run, and at least you will not do the absolutely blatantly wrong things or scams. You might still enter the gray area. So I think sticking to the regulated players for advice does not negate the risk, but minimizes it for sure, that at least you will not be a victim of blunders and scams.
Okay, before Shweta takes the discussion to Praveen, one final question to you, Pranjal, a candid, point-blank question. Have you, in your experience of being a YouTuber, have you ever endorsed a financial product for which you've got remuneration? And if so, how have you sort of put the disclaimer that this is something for which you've been paid?
Absolutely, I have, definitely. And this is where it's important that, when an advertisement comes with Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli in between an IPL, and when Virat Kohli is, say, endorsing MRF, everyone knows it's an advertisement. So I think a disclosure should be in a format which leaves no room for doubt that this is a product endorsement and not something that I have said by the way as an example. So I think a lot of people, what they do is they put the minimum 10-second disclaimer that sponsored or in partnership with and things like that. I think I like to say it orally that, while describing the product, that whatever I'm saying, I am being compensated and this is a paid partnership apart from the label, which is the YouTube requirement that you have to put the label. But because everything that I'm saying audio and video, so why shouldn't the disclaimer be in the same mode, video and audio? So that's what I like to do.